Hello, good morning, sports bettors. Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you my favorite DFS plays for today, using the OddsJam screen to find these DFS plays. So the OddsJam screen, really cool tool where you just pick a market. In this case, player points, and then you look for examples where, in this case, I'm looking at PrizePicks and Underdog, where they have some sort of mispriced line, some sort of line discrepancy compared to the rest of the markets. Basically, use the sports books against each other and identify where one of them has a mispriced line. It obviously doesn't just work for DFS companies. You can use it for regular sports books as well, but in this case, I'm going to be using the DFS sites. So let me zoom in a little bit more. And one thing that's cool about using the OddsJam screen is you can actually customize if you want something to show up differently on the screen. So if I click into a play here, you see how it pulls up all these different things. I can hide this sportsbook. I can move it to the front. I can move it left and right. I can also set a color. So I'm going to set this to, let's call it red, and confirm color. So that way, whenever I'm scanning through the different sportsbooks, I immediately know which one is PrizePicks, and then Underdog is just right next to that. So it's just an easy way to kind of customize the screen to how you want to view things. And in general, for strategies using PrizePicks, using Underdog, I'm sure everybody watching this is aware of how these DFS companies work, but it's basically like a player prop parlay. You just combine multiple player props. The more you add, the higher the payout. If one of them loses, then your entire entry loses. But the biggest difference is PrizePicks and Underdog have the same exact payout, regardless of what individual plays you add. Any two-leg entry is going to double your money. Excuse me, going to double your money, no matter what. No matter what two plays you add, you will double your money. And then for a three-leg one, you 4x your money. For a four-leg, I think you 9x your money. And then five has different options, like you can flex it. The payout's a little bit different with 5x. But regardless, doesn't matter what plays you add, the payout's going to be the exact same. So the strategy for these DFS companies is just to find player props, to put it simply, that are likely to hit. I know that sounds like Captain Obvious, but if you think about it from a sports betting perspective, take this Mason Plumlee point total, for example. It's priced at 12.5. Every single sportsbook that prices his point total favors the under, right? Minus 125 on the under, minus 102 versus the over. They think the under is more likely, so they make it more expensive. Look at Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, and how much they favor this going under. The under's at minus 166. The over is at plus 125. You're not paying any type of juice on PrizePicks, on Underdog, for adding this player prop to your selection. So this is my first leg. This is a really good play. Mason Plumlee under 12.5 points. Really good play. Every single sportsbook, the actually regulated sportsbooks that price odds per play individually, is telling you the most likely scenario here is that Mason Plumlee goes under. So we're going to make him incredibly expensive to buy his under. PrizePicks is not doing that. So again, here's my first leg. Mason Plumlee under 12.5 points. It's not worth it on Underdog because it's only priced at 12. So that extra half point is a huge deal. If he lands at exactly 12, you still win your PrizePicks bet. You would push this Underdog one, and 1 point from 11 to 12 is a huge deal with numbers this low. There's like a 10 to 12.5% chance that he lands at exactly 12 points, depending on how you want to assign probabilities. So that's a huge deal. So this is leg number one, Mason Plumlee under 12.5 points. So leg number one, specifically for Underdog, is going to be OG Anunoby over 16.5 points. So the reason why I like this one, let's look at the markets. Majority of sportsbooks actually price this a point higher at 17.5. So they think that the more likely scenario is that he goes over 16.5. So they price his over under higher than that. And if you look at the sports books that do prices over under at 16.5, which is just Bet Rivers, they heavily juice it going over. So this is another example of the books telling you the most likely scenario, the easiest solution here is that OG Anunoby goes over 16.5 points. So this is my first leg on Underdog Fantasy. So I have one leg on Underdog and one leg on PrizePicks currently. So my second leg that is going to be on PrizePicks is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 29.5 points. This is leg 2 on PrizePicks. Similar logic here. Majority of sportsbooks either price this at 30.5, so 1 point higher. So that's them telling you he's more likely to go over 29.5 points, or the sportsbooks that do price it at 29.5 heavily juice the over, including the OddsJam line, which you want to give the heaviest weight to because it's pulled from the sharpest sportsbook in the world. They price Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's over at -141, heavily favoring it. They price his under at +107. That's a really good price. DraftKings is another pretty good sportsbook with player props. Look at how they price the 29.5, heavily favoring it going over. And then BetRivers, which I'm not saying BetRivers, we use them as a sharp sportsbook, but not only do they have it priced 1 point higher, but look at how much they favor him going over this number as well. They have the over priced at -125. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 29.5 points is a really, really good play as my second PrizePicks option or selection for this entry. Next up, another PrizePicks one is Jared Allen over 12.5 points. Similar logic here. Every sportsbook either prices it at 13.5 or they price it at 12.5, but heavily juice the over. It's the same exact logic as the Shai one. Look at how they price 12.5. The over at -132, the under at -101, the over at -130, the under at +100, or they price it a full point higher at 13.5. So this is leg number 3 for PrizePicks. I still have only one for Underdog, but I will look for another Underdog one. But make sure that you are locking these in as we go. It's 3 PrizePicks, 1 Underdog currently. So my fourth and final PrizePicks one is going to be Lauri Markkanen to go over 25.5 points. So this is my fourth and final PrizePicks one. I do think that this is another really good one. The logic is the exact same, so I don't need to beat around the bush here. Lauri Markkanen is priced at 25.5 at PrizePicks. The sportsbooks that price it at 25.5, same thing. Heavily favor it going over, or they price it at 26.5, as we can see on these sportsbooks as well. So that's my fourth and final pick for PrizePicks. And then I have one for Underdog, and we are looking at, and this is just on Underdog, we're looking at Darius Garland to go under 20.5 points as my second and final pick for Underdogs. That's 4 PrizePicks, 1 for entry, or that's 1 for selection, entry on PrizePicks. Sorry, that's a tongue twister. And then 1 two-leg one on Underdog. Darius Garland to go under 20.5 points. And that's going to be it. So if you guys are tailing these 2 entries, comment and let me know. Other than that, please remember to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.